Boy, oh boy, did old Danny boy have a fucking shit day today at his old press conference. For once, the journalist gave it to the cunt about the, the WorkSafe stuff that's come out this week. The charges laid against the health department. And boy, did he try and dodge the question. His fucking bung eye was always busting out of his fucking skull. He was that annoyed, that angry at what they were asking him. But no, they credit where credit's due. They stuck it to the fucking slimy cunt and asked the questions that all of us want to know. You know, why is the fucking Victorian people going to be paying for this when it was their fuck up? You know, Brett Sutton and Dan Andrews, their heads should roll for this, not the Victorian people's pockets. You know, we pay tax for these fucking slimy cunts to fuck up and then slink out. Nah, fuck that shit. This is bullshit. And the journalists on the same page as us. Why should we pay for it? So yeah, this video is just 5 minutes of him barbing with the the journalists back and forth. But nah, good on yous. This is what it should be every day. He should get fucking crucified like this every day.
WorkSafe is prosecuting the Department of Health for up to 58 charges over the alleged safety failings in the hotel quarantine system, potentially fines of up to $95 million. So how will relevant individuals and people be held accountable, and why should taxpayers foot the bill for this?
Well, WorkSafe is independent and there's a court process on foot, so I'm not going to be commenting on that. That's before the Magistrates Court.
But can you provide any information right now? I mean, can Victorians...
No, I can't, because I'm not going to be running a commentary on a court process. It's before the Magistrates Court. WorkSafe are independent. I think they demonstrate that every day with the work that they do. So I'm not in a position, not today, and not any day, to be commenting on matters that are before the courts.
But taxpayers are footing the bill for this one, so do you have any...
There's a lot of legal action that occurs involving the government, and I don't comment on that either. So I'm not commenting on it. I've made it very clear to you.
No one's asking you to comment on the evidence, the substance
no,
of the
but you
evidence.
are. And
no, they're not. The question was
with
around
the greatest
the
respect, Paul, it's not for you to reinterpret what other people ask. If you want to ask me a question, please do so. But I'm not going to get into a debate with you about what someone else asked.
Without going into the evidence of what the court will hear,
yes,
which would obviously put you in contempt of that court.
Well, no, it wouldn't put me in contempt at all.
It could.
Well, no, that's not the case. Look, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know whether you are, but we can go toe-to-toe if you like. I'm not commenting on things that are before the courts. And part of question and answer is that I don't know what your next question will be. So once I start answering some of them, who knows where we'll finish up? We'll finish up essentially running the case at a press conference. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I judge all your questions on their merits and I answer them appropriately. And I will not be going into the details or canvassing issues that are currently on foot, live, being dealt with.
Okay, what about the Cope inquiry? Can I just get you to reflect on Cope's comments blaming a proper lack of leadership and oversight for the infection outbreaks, describing the program as a catastrophe waiting to happen? Can I get you to comment on that?
I've already made my comments very clearly on that particular matter at the time and since, and we've been acting to deliver on all the recommendations that were relevant to us as handed down at the time. You can go back and have a look at the tape. It's very detailed. I went through and spoke at length about that process.
Sorry, separate to what's before the courts, the health department will either be found guilty or it won't. If it is found guilty, it will be fined. That money, does it not, either has to come out of the budget of an already struggling health system, or you guys top it up one way or another. Why should Victorian people and Victorian taxpayers and users of the Victorian health system be punished for the mistakes of individuals in the health department rather than those individuals?
Well, you've just canvassed all the issues that are relevant. You can't divorce any of those issues from what's on foot at the Maggies now. So I'm afraid I'm not in a position to speak to that. It's an independent regulator. They take their responsibilities very seriously. There's a court process, and let's wait and see how that unfolds. You're wanting me to assume that there'll be findings of guilt, that there'll be penalties issued, that there'll be all of that, and I'm not in a position to do that.
But do you believe in the principle? Do you believe the principle is fair that taxpayers will foot the bill for any fines?
Well, in principle, if penalties are issued, and penalties, there are penalties issued against the government. There are awards made in favour of the government on a fairly routine basis, Rich. let's deal with that when and if it happens. When and if it happens. But the government doesn't get to say, well, actually, we don't like that judgment, so we're not going to do it. We're not going to. These penalties have been duly issued, and we're not going to pay them. That's not how it works.
If a private business owner is exposed
That isn't how it works. Directly to the point about a private business, they don't get to say no, and nor does the government.
But if a private business is exposed to this kind of court action, their whole livelihood is potentially on the line. That's not the case for the people who made these decisions.
Well, because
in the health department.
because the Department of Health and a private business are two very different things, Rachel. Two very different things. The Department of Health is not, for instance, for profit. The Department of Health has a degree of responsibility that is far broader than any private business. So that's not really a fair comparison. On the issue of principle, to Rich's question, and please don't spend the next 4 days thinking about reframing all these questions as matters of principle, because that will just see us back where we were a moment ago. It's in the Maggies. Let it run its course, and we'll talk about it when it's finished. But as a matter of principle, the government is not exempt from sanction or from penalties, or a department or an agency.